Guys, girls, babes, welcome back to the Jenaya Talks Caps podcast. Long absence here during the Olympic break, but we are back for a special Olympics episode here at the Jenaya Talks Caps podcast. I am joined today by Sunny, becoming a bit of a regular here. You are. The people love you, as we always say. They always want to see you back on here. So here you are. Yet again, you've invited yourself back on to what you last time called your show. So
You're not gonna get over that, are you?
I will never get over that. No. But yeah, so I'm excited to have you back on today. We've got a lot to talk about here. It is a really exciting episode for us to get to do here because, of course, regularly we talk a lot of Washington Capitals. But it is very rare that we get to talk not only Olympics, as the Winter Olympic Games obviously are only once every 4 years, but it has been literally 12 years since we have seen NHL players in the Olympics. So this is actually the first time, obviously, since I started this podcast, that we have had such a show where we get to talk about NHL players in the Olympics and some of our very own Washington Capitals in the Olympics. So very excited to get this show going here today. And yeah, I just wanted to welcome you all back to the program here. We're so excited and so happy to have you all here. And thank you all, as always, for tuning in. We really, really appreciate it. Click on that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. If you're watching over on YouTube, watching the video version, if you want to see our faces, or if you are listening to the audio only version, whether it be on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, wherever you like to listen to your podcasts, click on that subscribe button for us. We would love to have you along here with us for this ride. And yeah, even as the Olympics are going to come to a close here eventually. Unfortunately, I wish they would never end. But yeah, even though the Olympic Games will eventually come to a close here, we will still obviously have lots of Washington Capitals content coming up for the rest of the regular season and hopefully into the Stanley Cup playoffs as well. Fingers crossed that they can, get back into that playoff positioning there and make that happen. But yeah, for now, we've got a lot of Olympics here to talk today. So Sunny, why don't you just briefly introduce yourself, let everyone know who you are, why you're here, just maybe share a fun fact about yourself or what have you, and then we'll get into all of the topics that we've got to talk about here today.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sunny. I'm a Washington Capitals fan for about 10 years now, and I just love talking, watching anything to do with Caps. And I got myself my mitten ready just to talk about Thomathan Wilson. I know his name is not Thomathan Wilson, but it's a running joke. Just a funny
It's a
way of saying
silly name that I call him all the time. Yeah,
yeah,
Thomathan Wilson.
Thomathan Wilson.
Thomathan Wilson. Team Canada Tommy. Top line Team Canada
I
Tommy. We'll get
know.
into that,
Who
but
knew?
yeah, we'll get into that for sure. But yeah, anyways, continue.
Yeah, no, I'm 10 years of being a Caps fan, and I just love watching the different changes in the team for over 10 years, and looking forward to hopefully making the playoffs this year. So yeah, I'm hoping, crossing fingers.
Yeah, my fingers, like I said, over here are crossed. My fingers over here are also crossed. Really hoping that they can grab a playoff spot again this season. But yeah, for now, lots of Olympic talk here. This is the first time that we've been back on the podcast in, gosh, probably almost a month now.
Yeah, I would say a month, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long absence for us. We are normally not offline for that long at all. We normally do an episode every single week. Just for those of you who might be new here and just joining us for the first time, we do normally do an episode every single week. I was sick as a dog, like for forever there, it felt like. So I was off air for quite some time, for a couple of weeks, I would say. And then obviously the Capitals are off now. And so we figured that we would watch some of these Olympic games and then hop back on, having watched some of these games and really having something to talk about here. So yeah, I mean, we've got a number of Washington Capitals that we are keeping an eye on for sure in these Olympic Games. We've obviously got Tom Wilson, like we said, and Logan Thompson on Team Canada. Thank goodness for us as Canadians. our very own Team Canada, our very own Tom Wilson and Logan Thompson on our very own Team Canada. Thank goodness, like I said, it is, as always, a great time to be a Canadian hockey fan. And then we have got Martin Fehervary, of course, on Team Slovakia. And Marty, for those who don't know, was actually named an alternate captain by Team Slovakia. So that is obviously a huge honor at any age. Anytime that you're representing your country at the Olympic Games, getting a letter in any case, that's a huge honor. But certainly it is an especially huge honor when you consider Martin Fehervary's young age, right? The fact that the coaching staff and management group there of Team Slovakia are recognizing him for his leadership abilities and his maturity at such a young age. That says quite a lot about Martin Fehervary, but of course we already knew that about him as Washington Capitals fans. We are familiar for sure with Martin Fehervary's game on and off the ice. Just a great guy on and off the ice. And then you've also got a couple of Caps prospects who were also named to their country's Olympic teams. Antoine Keller, the goaltender for Team France. I felt really bad for him the other night, having to having to come into that round robin game against Team Canada in a game where Team Canada was really pouring it on, trying to score as many goals as they could, knowing that goal differential ultimately was going to be the tiebreaker with a team like Team USA, right, for that top seed. So yeah, they wanted to score goals in that game. Antoine Keller, he came on in relief during that game. At the first shot that he faced in the game was a breakaway from Connor McDavid. Poor kid. Obviously it went in. So yeah, it was not a good night to be Antoine Keller. But yeah, so anyways, he's one of the goaltenders for Team France, so that's exciting. He's only, I believe, 21 years old, so that's quite an honor for him as well, representing his country at that young age. And then, of course, Eric Smateko was named to Team Latvia. Really unfortunate for Team Latvia and for obviously Eric's Matejko, that he was actually, he was projected to be one of their best players at these Olympics after such strong showings for his country in the World Juniors Championship. But unfortunately, he was, of course, injured. Anyone who, any Hershey Bears fans out there, they all know this. He was injured while playing for the Hershey Bears of the American Hockey League, and it was a season-ending injury that he suffered, unfortunately, and so he unfortunately misses these Olympics. So that's a real bummer for him. Obviously, like, just a massive honor to be named to your country's Olympic team at that young age, and then to have to miss it with an injury like that, it's really, really unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, we've got four guys, four either Washington Capitals current players or Washington Capitals associated players, prospects, right, playing in these Olympics. Those being, like I said, Tom Wilson, Logan Thompson for Team Canada, Martin Fehervary for Team Slovakia, and then Antoine Keller for Team France. And I mean, just quickly on Eric Smateko too, I do have a feeling that we are going to see Eric Smateko playing for Team Latvia for a very long time. So hopefully the kid doesn't take it too hard having to miss these 2026 Olympics. But yeah, I mean, Capitals players in these Olympics so far, it's been really, really fun, right? Like, I mean, where do we start here? There's so much. This is why the Olympics are so great, right? Like, there's just so much happening. There's so much drama. Like, there's just so much going on any given day. So
Drama.
drama, yeah. So we'll get into all of it here. We're obviously going to do a breakdown here of, what we've seen so far from these guys, the Capitals players, and what we've seen so far from the teams at the Olympics, with, a heavy focus for this podcast, obviously, on both Team Canada and Team USA. But Sunny, why don't we just start with your thoughts, like from like a pure, I want to get your just unfiltered, like from a pure emotional perspective. What is it like for you as a Washington Capitals fan and a long time, both of us, long time Tom Wilson truthers? We have been defendants of this guy, advocates for this guy since he came into the league. What is it like for you seeing Tom Wilson and Logan Thompson, two guys who we obviously absolutely love here on this podcast? What is it like to see these two guys suiting up in the red and white with the maple leaf on their chest and contributing out there on the ice for our country up here in Canada?
Emotionally, it's kind of it's really heartfelt, I think, and I think it speaks true to when you work really hard and you kind of block everybody out that everybody wants to talk negative about you and be like, you're never going to make it, you're never going to be that, person. As you've mentioned before, Tom Wilson's always had a background history of being known for being a goon, and that's kind of all he's ever going to be. And he's on Team Canada with not just on Team Canada, line up with McDavid. You know what I mean? Like winging, like he's on a line with McDavid. Like, and I shit on McDavid all the time, but that's whatever. But I mean, to be on Team Canada and on a main line, like he's not just like on the fourth line, he's on a main line and he's a center of attention. And you know what? I think Team Canada, when they were putting together the team, they're like, we need Tom Wilson. Could you ever think of the day when they're like, we need Tom Wilson? Like that kind of sticks the middle finger to everybody. It was like, oh, Tom Wilson's never gonna be anything, ha ha ha. Oh, he's just like Reeves, but it really feels it's more than heartwarming. It just feels like,
Vindicating, vindicating.
vindicated. That's the
Yeah.
word. Yeah, that's the word
Yeah.
it is. Because it's like we knew all along, and we supported him, and all his true fans supported him, and now it's showing, and now everybody's talking about Tom Wilson like they knew about Tom Wilson from day one when they didn't.
It's a similar feeling to that which I had when Ovechkin broke Wayne Gretzky's all-time
Record?
goals record,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, because vindicating is a good word because like same thing with Tom Wilson as it was for me with Alex Ovechkin and as it was for so many Washington Capitals fans with Alex Ovechkin. Like early on in his career, he was shit on constantly by these idiots in the media who just because he had not yet won a Stanley Cup, like they treated him like he was a criminal out there. Like honestly, like it was brutal, the criticism that he took, so unwarranted. He didn't deserve it at all. And finally, like, we fast forward all these years. He's a Stanley Cup champion. He's a Conn Smythe winner, and ultimately he does end up breaking Wayne Gretzky's all-time goals record, which all of these people in the media thought was untouchable, right? So yeah, vindicating is a good word. I feel exactly the same here with Tom Wilson. It's so great to see like, and I gotta say, it's honestly comical seeing like all of Canada falling in love with this guy now, and it's just like we were trying to tell you people for all these years, all these people coming out of the woodwork now, and
Oh, we knew all along. No, you didn't.
like you said, acting like they've been there the whole time,
Yeah.
which is fine, whatever. But yeah, it's really funny to see the public opinion of him now changing so rapidly as he plays on this big stage and has so many eyeballs on him. And like you said, I think a lot of people, like when they chose him for the team, first of all, how was there ever a question if he was going to be chosen for the team? The people within the team, like the coaching staff and the management of Team Canada, said that this was never a question. He was always going to be on this team. And then obviously he's had a great season again this season, so it made their decision even easier. But yeah, they said that there was never any question. A lot of people, once he was picked for the team, they thought that like maybe they were bringing him as like the 13th forward, extra forward, muscle only kind of guy. No, no. No, 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 no. Top line, like you said, with Connor McDavid and Macklin Celebrini, and he is killing it out there, killing it. So yeah, I mean, we'll get into this more like each individual player, but I just want to get your emotional.
and
Yeah,
and
go for it.
Thompson. Emotional feeling for Thompson, like, being kicked, like essentially kicked out and not like included in his team that he was with Vegas, like just kind of throwing him, kicking him to the dirt, and being able to give him a chance, not to just play with Caps, but being given the opportunity to play for Team Canada because you are that good and they see that.
Well,
So,
well, Logan Thompson was like obviously like undrafted guy, came up like through the ranks. Like he played at I believe it was Brock University, right? So like he really had an odd path and a far less traveled path to the National Hockey League than a lot of guys have had. He wasn't like a high draft pick. He wasn't a highly touted prospect or anything like that. He really had to work to get to where he is. I was reading a story just the other day where like Logan Thompson was talking about how he was at the point in his career literally where he was like about to get a side gig as an Uber driver, just to be able to pay for things because like that's
Wow.
that's where his life was at, right? Which there's nothing wrong with that, of course. It's not any offense.
Smart.
Yeah, it's not any offense to anyone that drives Uber or anything like that, but it's just to see how far he has come
Yeah.
and he's worked his way up the ranks here. And now he's literally a top goaltender in the National Hockey League 2 years running now, Vezina Trophy contender. His name's on the Stanley Cup already with the Vegas Golden Knights, albeit in a backup role. But I wouldn't be surprised if he wins another one someday here as a starter because he's that good. And now, obviously, the ultimate feather in his cap here being selected to Team Canada, which is the hardest hockey team in the entire world
To
to
me.
make. So, yeah, it's just I've got goosebumps talking about it. Honestly, like I'm so happy for these guys. So that's why I kind of just wanted to get your like emotional perspective on it before we dive into everything, tactically and whatnot, because it's really that's what the Olympics is about, right? It's an emotional event. It's an emotional time as a fan. It's patriotic. You're cheering for your country. And now, as Washington Capitals fans too, we're lucky enough that we're getting to cheer for some of our favorite players playing for
Hmm.
our country. It's awesome. It's awesome. And not having NHL players at the Olympics for 12 years. Gary Bettman, what the fuck were you doing, man? Because this is amazing. This is the best hockey I have ever seen in my life. It's incredible. From the moment that, like, obviously we watch a Team Canada, obviously, because we're Canadian. From the moment that Team Canada stepped on the ice, and that first shift, they started the Sidney Crosby line in their first game there. Obviously, him being the captain, and from that very first shift, it was just like, oh my God, like this is incredible. It's amazing hockey. The pace is unreal. So yeah, 12 years without this. It's a crime, honestly, that they deprived us of this for so long. I don't know if you want to add to that at all, but it's just
Yeah, I'm just I'm glad the way they built the team though, because I think you talked about this a lot, like in World Juniors and stuff, which is completely different than Olympics. But the sheer fact that they didn't just base it on skill, they really, like you mentioned, and we had conversations about how, they really added the grit part to the team this time around, where there's skill and grit versus just not skill. It's both. And I think that's kind of helping us in terms of being able to forecheck harder and stuff. And essentially, it'll be a good way of playing against if we end up playing against Team USA, because I feel we were kind of missing that. We had Bennett during the Four Nations, but I feel we were very like reserved in that sort of type of play, and we were just more skill, and that's kind of how we won. But I feel like because we've added this grit, it's going to be a whole kettle of fish if we end up playing, Team USA. So it feels good to be able to have that is have that in Team Canada, because everyone thinks of Team Canada, oh yeah, they're skilled players kind of thing, but nah, we're
yeah.
skilled players with
No, I
grit.
agree. I agree. It's I mean, we'll get into all the roster construction and all that of Team Canada and Team USA, of course, as many of our Capitals fans here are, I recognize, Team USA fans. But yeah, it's like you said, like at the Four Nations, I did feel like Canada's team was obviously super, super skilled. But they were missing that X factor intangible kind of physical brand of hockey that has been synonymous with Canadian hockey for so long, right? And they were kind of missing that, and it was just kind of like this super skilled team that, and I think now like the way that they're playing at these Olympics, it's completely different than how they were playing at the Four Nations. They are smoking guys out there. It's not just one guy. It's like obviously Tom Wilson is a completely different animal out there. All Washington Capitals fans are familiar with that. But it's really like he has just kind of brought that confidence to the team.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the guys have even talked about it. John Cooper has talked about it as well. The Tom Wilson effect, he calls it. It's just kind of and we've seen that with the Washington Capitals for so many years now, right? With him there in our lineup, it's just like when
Hmm.
he is on your team, whether he's on the ice for his shift or whether he's on the bench, when he's there, everybody else on your team just kind of stands a little bit taller, plays a little bit bigger. And we're seeing it with Team Canada now. Like Connor McDavid's out there fucking rocking guys. I've never seen this in my
I never
life.
seen that in
Like
my life.
never seen one of the broadcasters commented actually that like through the first two round robin games with Team Canada here at the Olympics, like that's more massive bone crunching hits than he's thrown in 11 seasons with the Edmonton Oilers. Like it's just like so yeah, it's crazy. It's and that's like John Cooper said, it's the Tom Wilson effect, right? Everybody stands a little taller, plays a little bigger, and now every single guy on the team is doing it, top to bottom, all four lines, all three defense pairings. Everybody is playing that way. Even the star players like a Connor McDavid, like a Nathan MacKinnon, yeah, all of these guys are just bringing that physical edge to their game. So we'll get into the roster construction here, but just for people who just wanted to run through like the current situation with the seating and whatnot for people who haven't been following it as closely. So through the round robin, right? We've wrapped up obviously the round robin now. So Team Canada has clinched the top seed, like the top seed of the whole tournament, the number one seed in the whole tournament. By going 3-0-0 through the round robin with a plus 17 goal differential through three games. Um, yeah, I mean, Canada, like, honestly, like, I keep using this analogy. I've used it in conversation with a lot of people now. I believe I even said it the other night to you. But Team Canada right now, they really do remind me of like if anyone has seen the movie Space Jam, like they're the Monstars. Like they're so intimidating and so scary out there. Hopefully they don't lose at the end of the movie the way that the that the Monstars did, but um to a Bugs Bunny led crew, Auston Matthews led crew.
Oh my God.
But
Hey, hey, hey. You don't compare Bugs
I
Bunny
know
to Austin. That's an insult to Bugs
that's
Bunny.
insulting to Bugs Bunny. I
Jeez.
agree. But no, it's they really like they remind me of the Monstars from Space Jam, like just how intimidating they are. They're just running all over everybody,
Yeah.
frankly, doing whatever they want out there. Marty Fehervary's team Slovakia has clinched the top seed in Group B. And I think that that has probably come as a surprise to a lot of people. I think a lot of people probably had both Sweden and Finland ahead of Slovakia in that group.
Hmm.
So certainly that's a pretty nice accomplishment there for Martin Fehervary and Team Slovakia. And then Team USA finishes as the top seed in Group C. Which I think everyone can agree was by far the weakest of the three groups in terms of the competition that was in that group. No, seriously though, like I'm not saying it to shit on the teams in that group, but the teams that were in that group just weren't as good as the rest of the field, right? So yeah, Group C by far the weakest group, but Team USA does what they need to do and they finish as the top seed in that group at least. But importantly, and this could potentially matter a lot as we look ahead now to the quarterfinals here. Even with the USA being in that much weaker group in the round robin, Team Canada still, against tougher competition, manages to grab onto the top seed overall in this tournament. Like I said, as both Canada and the USA both finished their round robin play at marks of 3-0-0, but Canada gets the top seed by way of goal differential, like I said, which was the tiebreaker. Canada, as I mentioned, finished the round robin at a mark of plus 17, while the USA finished at a mark of plus 11. Sorry. So yeah, plus 17 for Team Canada, plus 11 for Team USA. So Canada finishes as the top seed in the tournament by way of goal differential. That's why that was so important to score as many goals as you could, coming down to the end of that round robin there, where it looked like it was going to be, a tiebreaker situation. And so the reason why this could potentially end up mattering a lot is because we are now going to see a quarterfinal matchup of Team USA versus Team Sweden, which is obviously not what the USA would want for their quarterfinal matchup, right? So yeah, I mean it could end up mattering a lot here. I'm not gonna. I don't want to do like a prediction for that game, but I will say that just based on what I've seen from Team USA so far, they've looked a little shaky at times, and I think that having that, kind of tougher quarterfinal test in Team Sweden's not like a wallflower, right? Like they're a really good team. They're a medal contender for sure. They're a team that a lot of people pick to win a medal, so it's going to be interesting. I don't know, what are your feelings on that one? What's kind of your gut feeling on Team USA versus Team Sweden, which will come at us early on Wednesday, or I believe that's one of the later games actually, but they're all
Hmm.
early for us because they're over in Italy, obviously. So local time here, they're all early. But yeah, what's your gut feeling on that one, Team USA versus Team Sweden in the quarterfinals?
Honestly, I watched a couple of shifts. I didn't watch all the entire games, but I did watch a couple of shifts on different games that they played, like USA. And I mean, I wasn't impressed. I mean, it just seemed like regular hockey where you're just kind of shooting from the blue line and then just maybe getting some rebounds here or there. I mean, there was a couple of guys, playing pretty good. Like, and when I mean couple of guys, I mean not Matthews. Like, didn't see him, saw turnovers, but apparently
No, but he's
he's a
got a
great
couple of
captain.
he's got a couple of power play goals, Sonny, when the
He's
game's
got
already
two power play
5-1. Yeah.
goals, okay, and one regular goal. I think it's 3 goals or what? Or no, he's got 2 goals.
I've seen most, like, we'll get to him. I don't want to go to him yet, but just give me your thoughts on this
Yeah, so
quarterfinal
generally
matchup.
I think like it'll be interesting because Sweden, like, I can't remember entirely how they play, but like it'll be interesting to be able to play against Sweden because you're not playing because USA's played against what it was Latvia. Like they've done the round robin with these different teams. And I mean, yeah, obviously, like you would think that USA would be winning against these other teams, but it's kind of complicated because I feel like they're expecting to win against Sweden because that's just their mentality. They think they're just going to win because they're going to win because they're the States.
Well, they were
I don't
out
know
there
why they
making
think
making
that.
a bunch of commercials about just beating
Yeah,
Canada. It's like you
assuming they're
gotta
going to
you gotta
be
get there
even playing
first.
us.
Yeah, you gotta get there first. Like you're in different groups. You have to make it all the way to the gold medal game in order to face us. Like
Meanwhile, our commercial was about like all the different types of games in the Olympics, like like all the different
I
activities and
loved how
stuff.
the Canadian commercials in response were like they were just so like quintessentially Canadian. Like it was just like it was very polite. It was like, no, we just worry about our own team. We just care about winning gold for our country. They had a bunch of the women's players
Yeah,
and athletes from other sports in the
skater.
commercials
Yeah,
as well. Yeah,
exactly.
it was cool. It was
Yeah,
cool. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah,
Um,
no, I think it'll be interesting to see because it'll be some sort of compete for sure between the two of them. I think it'll be a very tight game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way. I think it's going to be a very tight game. And I think it'll also come down to goaltending. And if they have Hullebuck in net, I don't know. And if they have Ottinger in net, I don't know. I
I
mean,
thought
I
I
don't
thought it
trust.
was I thought it was very weird, like for this play-in round, that Team Sweden, like they sat out a few guys who I was like, what are you doing? Like they sat out Jesper Bratt, they
Mm-hmm.
sat out Rasmus Anderson, and they sat out Philip Gustafsson, I believe, as well, goaltender,
Start injured.
who had played in the round robin. So I don't know if that was just like because this game that they're going to play now in the quarterfinal against Team USA is going to be on the second half of a back to back for Team Sweden, right? Because they
Yeah,
had to
right.
they had to play in that play-in round game just to get to the quarterfinal. So USA is going to be rested, whereas Team Sweden's going to be on the second half of a back-to-back. So advantage USA there for sure. So I don't know if by Team Sweden that was just like a let's give these guys some rest or some maintenance type of thing. But yeah, it struck me
Maybe.
as very odd. So I don't know. We'll see tomorrow. What the situation is if those guys are in the lineup or not. I think it's going to be this is like the quarterfinal matchup other than Canada's game obviously because like obviously I'm a homer. I'm cheering for Canada. I don't make any secrets about it. I'm Canadian. I'm cheering for Canada. Go Canada go. I do not want the USA to win. I'm sorry to all of our American Capitals fans. I love you guys. You guys know that. We cheer for the same NHL team. We're all family here, but this is the Olympics. For me, for
It's
me,
a
it's go
different
Canada go.
situation.
For me, it's go Canada go. It's a chirp fest here towards Team USA for sure, and you can't really blame me for it because that's just that's what's great about the Olympics, right? Like it's like you can have your a bunch of friends, bunch of buddies who are American, and you're just like going back and forth at each other. Like it's so much fun. It's all in good fun. And yeah, that's the Olympic spirit, right? Like it gets very competitive between countries, and it's so much fun. But yeah, I'm really excited for this quarterfinal matchup between USA and Sweden. I think that that's going to be probably the best game, like the most evenly matched game of the
Hmm.
quarterfinals. So that's why I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be, like you said, tight game, tight checking game. Could come down to goaltending, like you said. Could come down to special teams as well. Like I would think both
Hmm.
both of those teams would probably want to remain pretty disciplined because you don't want to be giving away a power play goal or two in a game like that for sure. Canada's matchup is going to be interesting as well against Czechia. Of course, they played Czechia in the round robin. They beat them easily, 5-0. But that was more so for me. That was more of like a show of Team Canada's strength versus like any weakness on Czechia's. But Czechia's a really good team. Like they've got
Hmm.
David Pastrnak on their team. They've got Marty Necas on their team. Like they've got good NHL players, NHL stars. And yeah, they're a good team. So like I wouldn't be taking them lightly at all. I think that that'll be a really good game as well. I wanted to get to talking about like specifically Team Canada and Team USA, because obviously Washington Capitals fans, like I said, most of them are American, most of them are Team USA fans. So that's why I want to cover Team USA here as well as Team Canada. And also because I think most people think that this is probably going to be the gold medal game if everything goes according to plan, right? So, yeah, I just kind of want to like look at each team, break it down a little bit. Like line combinations, for me have been really interesting for Team Canada in particular. And especially, like I said, from a Washington Capitals fan perspective, right? Like we have seen head coach John Cooper trying out a few different things, including what many would call the nuclear option of a top line of Connor McDavid centering Nathan McKinnon and Macklin Celebrini. And oh my goodness, was that ever fun? that that worked beautifully. And so, that's obviously like that'll obviously be an option that John Cooper and his staff can go to, keep in their back pockets for whenever Canada needs a goal. They were generating pretty freaking easily when they were put out there together. So yeah, that's definitely a good option to have in your back pocket. But in 2 out of the 3 games so far, Canada's top line, as we set off the top here, has been Connor McDavid, centering none other than our very own Tom Wilson
Awesome.
on his right wing, and with Macklin Celebrini on his left wing. And I've got to tell you, like for folks who haven't caught all of Canada's games so far in this tournament, because like I said, most Washington Capitals fans probably Team USA fans, right? A lot of them are American. So for anyone who hasn't caught all of Canada's games so far in this tournament, I've got to tell you, folks, top line Tommy skating next to Connor McDavid, it is working. Like, I mean, it's really working. And obviously, like as Capitals fans, like we know why that would be, right? Like it makes a lot of sense that that combination would work because Tom Wilson has always been a guy who you can put on your top line in the NHL. He can play with really good players. He played with obviously Alex Ovechkin and Nicklas Backstrom for so many years, or even like when the Capitals won the Cup. That at that time the top line was Alex Ovechkin with Evgeny Kuznetsov and Tom Wilson. Tom Wilson being the right winger on that line when the Caps won the Cups, right? So he's very accustomed to playing with really good players. Like it's something that he's very used to. He has the skill set to be able to do that.
Hmm.
He's obviously got really good hands. He's really good net front. He can score goals, and he's got really, really good and really, really underrated speed as well. That's something that people don't give Tom Wilson enough credit for. He's a really good skater. He's really fast. Um, and yeah, I mean that
For a
that
heavy
top
guy, he's fast. Yeah.
yeah, he's like 6'4", 225, and he skates like the wind. Like he's super
Yeah.
fast. And I Tom Wilson, Connor McDavid rather, referred to Tom Wilson as a forechecking god. That is how he described Tom Wilson and playing with Tom Wilson and having Tom Wilson on his wing. So forechecking god, Tom Wilson. with the first Gordie Howe hat trick in Olympic history, Sonny. In Olympic history. That is not just Team Canada history, although that would certainly be impressive enough on its own when you think about all of the great players that have played for Team
Yeah.
Canada over the years. But no, like that is in Olympic history as a whole. That Gordie Howe hat trick by Tom Wilson against France. That was the first ever in Olympic history. Any team from any country, no player in Olympic history has ever posted a Gordie Howe hat trick in a game at the Olympics until our own Tom Wilson just did so against France. And I mean, that's absolutely insane, but also like of course, right? Like
It was Tom.
of course it would be Tom Wilson who would post the first ever Gordie Howe hat trick in Olympic history. Of course, Sonny.
And he
Who
wasn't even trying he wasn't even trying to get into the third. Like, you got to get an assist, a goal, and a fight. But he wasn't even trying to get a fight. I mean, he knows the rules. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't instigating it, wasn't trying to get involved with anybody. It just so happens because it just attracts him.
Well,
You know what I mean?
he was pretty obviously trying not to fight, like
Yeah,
because
that's what I mean.
he was obviously worried about potentially getting suspended
Kicked out,
as
yeah.
the rules are a lot tighter in the Olympics, and he knows that. He said as much after the game. He so for anyone who didn't catch that game against France, this jackass on France. I'm not even going to dignify the guy
He did
by
not get ragdoll. Let's just make a note.
no. But I just want to lay out what happened and what led up to it because, like, so I'm not even gonna dignify this idiot on France by even using his name. This jackass on Team France. He in a, I
Number
believe the
seven.
game. I believe the game was 9-2 at this point.
It was 10-2 at that point.
No, 10-2 was the final, but I'm talking about at the time of this incident that I'm going to talk about here. The score, I believe, was already 9-2. This jackass on France decides to elbow Nathan Actual McKinnon right in the head as he's already down on
Purposely.
the ice. Oh, purposely, yeah, purposely, as he's already down on the ice. Then he goes and Nathan McKinnon said after the game, because they were like, "What did he say when he came over to you?" He's like, "Well, he said sorry, but he's like, sorry, like what even just sorry? Like you elbowed me in the head. Like you don't just do that and then come over and say sorry." He was not happy about it. So he does that. He elbows Nathan McKinnon directly in the head. Should have been a major penalty. They called it only a 2-minute minor. And so then that's important to note because that's kind of what led to this, right? Because then on a later shift, Tom Wilson, he goes into the corner looking for that guy, but he goes into the corner looking for him to just hit him cleanly, right? Lays a big hit on him, clean hit. And then this French guy, he just I don't like he just I don't know what he's trying to accomplish here. Like Nathan McKinnon said after the game, this guy didn't want to actually fight Tom Wilson. He just wanted to wrestle. He just wanted to grab him by the jersey, pretend like he's tough, and then
Turtle away.
literally hide behind the officials, right? Like if you go watch the replay and you see the screenshots of this, like seriously, go watch the replay and you can see the moment that first of all, like you can see Tom Wilson is very much not wanting to fight because he doesn't want to get suspended or he doesn't want to risk getting suspended for the quarterfinal game, which was going to be the next game. It's an important game coming up in their next game. So he doesn't want to get suspended. So you can see that like he's holding back and not wanting to fight. The captain of Team France, Belmar, actually said after the game that it was very obvious that Tom Wilson was holding back. And he called that, quote, very generous by Tom Wilson to be holding back like that. Obviously, Belmar, former NHL player, he knows what the score is, right? He knows what's what and what's going on out there. So he was very complimentary of Tom Wilson. He said Tom Wilson was being very generous by holding back. Could have killed him, didn't. But yeah, you could see like when you watch the replay, you can so clearly see Tom Wilson not really wanting to drop the gloves because he doesn't want to risk suspension. And then you can see as the French guy grabs his jersey, tugs him down to the ice kind of awkwardly. And then the linesman who gets in there is holding Tom Wilson down on the ice. And the French guy is wailing on him in the back of the head as he's being held down on the ice by the linesman. And then Tom Wilson gets up. So French guy acting really tough, right? Then Tom Wilson gets to his feet, and you can literally see when you zoom in on the replay, you can see the French player
Face.
immediately regret this decision. Like, just, oh no, what have I done? You can see the look come across his face, like, uh-oh. And you can see on the replay the way that he literally runs away to get behind that official, to get behind the linesman there, literally books it out of there the minute that Tom Wilson is up on his feet. The French guy is like, I'm out of here. And he takes off, like literally running away. It was embarrassing, honestly.
And then he turtles on the ice, and
Yeah,
then
then Wilson's
as
got
a
him down on
linesman
the
or the
ice. The
referee's
linesman's
holding him
trying to
down.
protect him. Wilson, I was worried. I was talking about this with Gil. Wilson, I was worried like he was almost like about to, it looked like he was almost about to like kind of like shoving the linesman out of the way to try to get at this French player. And I was like, oh no, like don't do that. Like, cause you will get suspended for that for sure. But he managed to control himself. He reeled it back in. But yeah, he was really trying to get at him. The linesmen, the officials were protecting this guy, probably saved his life. And yeah, it was just, when you watch the replay, it was just really
He
funny to
thought he
see.
was getting hit by Tom, so he turtled some more. Meanwhile, it's just the ref or the linesman holding him, and he thought that was Tom getting him.
Well,
I'm
because
just
like I
like,
said,
what a
you
loser.
could see the look on his face when he like immediately started regretting the
Yeah.
decision that he just made. And likewise on Tom Wilson's face, like when he got up, we were watching the game together. What did I say to you? I said, I'm like, uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. Because I saw the look on Tom Wilson's face, it just changed. And that's like, he's seeing red now. Like, and you know, it's about to pop off. So I was saying uh-oh
Oh.
because I didn't want him to get suspended, right? So I'm literally over and over again because we've seen that look in his eyes many times before. We know what's about to happen. And yeah, of course, now there's lots of viral memes and whatnot floating around about how the officials saved the Frenchman's life.
Yeah, pretty
This,
much.
yeah, but I was proud of him honestly for like reeling it back in, recognizing the
Yeah.
situation, doing just enough to defend his teammate in Nathan MacKinnon without crossing over the line to put himself out of a
Hmm.
quarterfinal game to hurt his team, right? So he didn't take it too far. He walked the line perfectly, and I was really proud of him for that. But yeah, I think just Nathan MacKinnon said after the game too, like I said, he was talking about the guy um, grabbing Wilson by the jersey and essentially like jerseying him down to the ice. And that's when MacKinnon said, he's like, yeah, that guy didn't want to fight Tom. He didn't want to actually fight Tom. He just wanted to wrestle to try to look tough on television or whatever. And Nathan MacKinnon goes, that's all right. I wouldn't want to fight Tommy either. Like, no kidding. But yeah, all of the Team Canada players, Nathan MacKinnon especially, Connor McDavid spoke on it as well. Obviously, guys like Sam Bennett, Brad Marchand, Sidney Crosby, even like they were all super appreciative and really impressed with Tom Wilson just doing what he always does. Right. Like we are so used to that as Washington Capitals fans, just sticking up for his teammates. Right. Nobody's going to fuck with Nathan MacKinnon when Tom Wilson is out there. Nobody's going to fuck with Connor McDavid when Tom Wilson is out there. Right. So yeah, I love that from Tom. It was great to see. And it's on another level of like, it gets me so jacked up seeing him doing it in a Team Canada jersey. Like
Hmm.
it's incredible. It's amazing.
Gives you
I
goosebumps.
It does literally like, and everybody across Canada, like I said, fallen in love with the guy, figuring out what we have always known, right? My uncle Brad, God bless him, he's like the biggest Boston Bruins fan in the world. He always calls Tom Wilson the big dummy. That's his name for him. And now he's got his little pom poms out. Go Tom, go Tom! Big Tom Wilson guy now. So I'm sure it'll go back to normal after the Olympics. But
I
yeah, you
think
can't.
he's secretly a Tom Wilson fan, even in regular. Pretty sure. He just won't admit it, and he'll never
Oh
admit
yeah,
it.
he's a real hockey fan, so he's definitely a Tom Wilson appreciator at least. Because yeah, how can you not appreciate Tom Wilson's game and what he does on the ice when like assuming that you're an actual hockey fan, right? So yeah, for the rest of Team Canada, like I think obviously their forward lines are just disgusting. The top line, obviously, no matter who you put up there, whether it's Nathan MacKinnon or Tom Wilson, that line has been flying, leading the entire tournament in scoring chance generation by a wide margin, like by more than double. So that's great to see. The second line has been a little bit in flux because it depends whether Nathan MacKinnon is centering it or not. But I mean, I think that they have so many good players up front that it's like you can't really go wrong. Like they've got a third line. Like when Sidney Crosby is your third line center, like that's disgusting. That should be illegal. As much as we don't like Sidney Crosby here as Capitals fans, but I mean, like you got to just call it like it is, right? Like having that guy as your third line center is sick. And yeah, their third line has been that's actually the one line that hasn't been changed at all. It's been consistent through 3 games of the round robin. Is Sidney Crosby centering Mitch Marner and Mark Stone. So
Really effective line.
three like takeaway kings. Like they have
Yeah.
so many takeaways between the three of them. They're three of the top takeaway players in the entire National Hockey League over the last like
In one line. Holy
decade. Yeah, and they're all three on
shit.
the same line. They're all three really good defensively. So yeah, that's kind of their like that's kind of been their go-to shutdown line, right? And then the fourth line, we've seen John Cooper kind of trying out different things, giving different guys looks there, giving different guys opportunities and ice time, rotating guys in and out. They gave Brad Marchand a couple of maintenance days for the last couple of games of the round robin, but they did say that he will be available for the quarterfinal game, so that's
Good.
good. Sam Bennett as well, maintenance day today, but John Cooper said he'll be good to go for the quarterfinal game as well. Nathan MacKinnon, who had obviously a couple of injury scares in the last game, first the headshot, and then he appeared to tweak his knee at the end of the game.
At the end of the game.
Yeah, he missed practice as well, but John Cooper, same thing. He said he'll be good to go for the quarterfinal game. So that's all really good news. Back in for Canada. I mean, it's the Cale Makar show, right? Like it's Cale Makar and then everybody else kind of. They have a good group. I wouldn't say that it's as strong as some of the other groups in the tournament. Like 1 through 6. But they do have that X factor of they have the best defenseman in the National Hockey League by far, in my opinion, in Cale
Can you
Makar.
imagine if Chikrin was on that back end?
It would
Yeah,
be
Makar times two.
it would be a lot better than it is now without him. That's for sure. He should be on the team. I'm still mad about it. And then in goal for Canada, just looking at the time here, so I'm kind of trying to speed it up a bit. But in goal for Canada, I think Canada's crease is obviously like a big discussion and a big storyline, right? Although I will just say that I don't think that it has to be that way if they would just start the right guy. Like you could simply just start the right guy, right? Like Logan Thompson has been one of the very best elite goaltenders in the National Hockey League for 2 straight years running now. Like this doesn't have to be complicated. It's just John Cooper's, excuse my language, hard on for Jordan Binnington that's making it complicated. Like I don't know I don't know what his
I mean,
obsession is
we
with
best
Jordan
not see
Binnington.
Kemper in net. We better not see Kemper. I should just
We're not going to see Kemper. No, no.
Okay.
No, unless there's like catastrophic injury problems. But no, I will say like I do to an extent understand the logic behind giving Jordan Binnington the first crack at it, at least. Like based on the fact that he did recently beat this USA team in a do or die game at the Four Nations, right? But if you're doing that, like if you are giving Jordan Binnington first crack at it, then it had better be on a very short leash when you have got Logan Thompson available to you sitting on your bench, ready to come in at the first sign of trouble. Like that's my thing is like I can understand it, the logic behind it, behind giving Jordan Binnington the first crack at it. But for me, like it better be a very short leash when you've got Logan Thompson sitting on your bench. So
I
I
mean,
don't
he
know.
allowed 2 stupid goals. It should have been
Binnington,
10
yeah, in
nothing.
the last game, yeah, it should have been 10-0. Yeah. But it's tricky because, and that's why I say like I can understand it to an extent because like at the Four Nations, Binnington was garbage in the round robin portion. He looked like
Hmm.
shit. Looked like shit. And everyone was like, why are we not giving one of the other two guys a shot. Well, maybe because the other two guys that they had decided to pick for that for some reason were Aiden fucking Hill and Samuel fucking Montembeau. But yeah, I mean, he looked like crap through the round robin portion of the Four Nations. He looked very shaky. It looked like we were going to be in trouble. And then in the final game against Team USA, he stands on his head and he's amazing, and Team Canada wins. So uh, he does kind of have this reputation that he's earned a little bit through that Four Nations final, through winning a game seven on enemy ice in Boston in the Stanley Cup final to win the Stanley Cup. He has kind of developed a bit of a reputation of like being a big game goalie. So I understand it to an extent. Like I said, my thing is just like it's got to be a short leash. Like if you go into this quarterfinal game and he's letting in a couple of goals like he just did against France, you got to yank him because you've got Logan Thompson sitting on the bench. So I don't know how you feel about it. Like
He played a really good, I don't can't remember, was it against Czechia? Um,
the first game against Czechia, yeah, he
no,
was really good.
he got was a shutout, so it wasn't him.
It
But
was
oh
him.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
wasn't
was
right,
him.
but yeah, it wasn't. No, he played like I was just like not bad because he
Yeah.
was saving shit and like also like playing the puck and stuff like that. I mean, I feel like he plays the puck too aggressively, and sometimes I can bite you in the ass. But because there was a couple times he did that in the game against just now that we've watched that was
Hmm.
against France. He did a couple of sketchy passes around the crease, but he played really phenomenal against Czechia. But I mean, you can't be allowing stupid flaky goals like he did the last two. Like that should have easily been like 10-0, and also to help with the goal differential as well, right? Like that's important too. So I mean, that's kind of over and done with. But at the same time, like if Logan Thompson wasn't it, would it have been a 10-0 win? Like we don't know.
Well, that's
Can't
the
really
thing. It's like
say. We don't know.
you knew that it wasn't really going to matter in the context of that game because you knew that you were like
Yeah.
in all likelihood going to destroy Team France. No offense to Team France, but it did matter for goal differential. Like we were trying to still secure the top seed at that point. So each goal that he let in, it was kind of like, a little bit of the wind out of the sails a little bit
Yeah.
during the course
Yeah.
of the game. Um, and I just thought that it was just the way that he looked, like he just looked shaky again. But he did in the first game, like you said, against Czechia, the first game of the tournament for Canada, he got a shutout, 5-0 shutout over Team Czechia, who's a really good
Mm-hmm.
team. Like Czechia is not like some shit team. Like they're a pretty good team. A lot of people pick them to possibly medal in these Olympics. So he had a really good shutout against them. He looked really good. You and I looked at each other. We were like, oh wow, like maybe he's gonna just be big game Jordan Binnington here through the
Mm-hmm.
Olympics. But yeah, then a little bit of concern comes back with those couple of shaky goals, and just generally looking shaky throughout the game against France. So we'll see what happens. I think obviously like they're going to start him in the quarterfinal game. I don't think that anything that happened against France was going to change that, barring like a complete disaster where they lose or something, or only win like 6-5 or something. But yeah, I mean, given the fact that he already shut out Czechia at this tournament, I think obviously they're going to start him in the quarterfinal game. I just hope that as we are into these do or die games now where it's literally single elimination, you cannot afford to lose. Like they better have him on a short leash with Logan Thompson sitting on the bench.
You
So
think that they'll put Binnington in if we make it to the final?
assuming that he's been playing well enough to get us there,
Yeah.
yeah. That's kind of the problem with like a single elimination is like now at this point to get Jordan Binnington out of the net, the only way that that's going to happen is if we're like in a near disaster, right? Like because the only way that that's happening is if he's letting in a bunch of crappy goals and we're
Yeah.
in real trouble here, right? So at this point, you just ride with him and hope that he can get it done. But yeah, I mean, Team USA, they're I would say, like it's so tough because it's like everyone's like it's Connor Hellebuck, like Vezina Trophy, Hart Trophy contender. Did he win the Hart last season? I don't
I
remember.
can't remember.
I don't remember if he won or if he was just a runner up. But yeah, I mean he has all of these regular season accolades, and yet in pretty much every big game that he has ever played, he either completely sucks or he is okay, but still doesn't win, right?
Him and
So
Ottinger both.
yeah, Ottinger's not the best in big games either. And then of course Jeremy Swayman in that round robin game. Good Lord, like oh my God, just letting in goals from center ice, and it was a shit show out there. So, yeah. So I understand the questions about Team Canada's goaltending. I'm not that sold on Team USA's being much more reliable, though, personally, just because of like the big game pedigree for some of their
Hmm.
guys. As a Canadian, I'm hoping that it is Connor Hellebuck in net because you know that it's just gonna like it's so we'll see what happens in their crease. We'll kind of work backward for them. So we start with the goalies. Their defense, I think, is really really strong. They have a really good group of like their top six is just really really good. That's the one area that I think that they're probably better than Team Canada, is their top six group on defense. Obviously, like a guy like Quinn Hughes is great puck mover, adds a lot of offense, and they just like I said, Canada has the number one defenseman, the top defenseman, the best defenseman in the NHL, and Cale Makar. But after that, there's a pretty big drop off with a lot of the guys. Whereas USA, I find like they just have better depth. They have a better group of six. So I do see that as a strength of Team USA. But then when we look at the forwards, I just think honestly, it's not close
What
compared
is
to
there? There's
Canada.
nothing to compare.
Well, it's just I find that like their kind of secondary players and their depth players might be kind of similar to Canada's, but the difference with Canada is Canada has Connor McDavid, Canada has Nathan McKinnon, Canada has Macklin Celebrini. They literally have the top three scorers in the NHL this season. They have this like star power and like just explosive offense, like really explosive offense that USA does not have. Like who is the explosive offense on Team USA? It's not the Tkachuk brothers.
Not ringing a bell here.
It's
And it's
not
not
Auston
Jack
Matthews.
Hughes.
It's not the Tkachuk brothers. It's not Auston Matthews. Maybe Jack Eichel. That's probably the closest thing that they
That's what
have.
I'm
But
thinking.
but
Maybe
is
Jack
Jack
Eichel.
Eichel anywhere near like
No.
a Connor McDavid or a Nathan McKinnon? No. So it's to me, it's like it's the explosive offense, the star power that really separates Canada's forward group.
They actually look slow. Like,
They do
when
look
I was
slow.
watching
Yeah.
them play, like they looked pretty slow, like, off the rush. They didn't look very fast
It's
in
because
terms
we're
of
watching Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon going like Mach 5 down the ice every shift. Like that's why USA to me, like they've just looked like any other team out there.
hmm.
That's my honest opinion. Like any other team, meaning like any other good, decent team. Like they look like Sweden or they look like Finland or they look like whoever else. Like it's just they don't have that yeah, explosive offense.
Who do
Like
they play?
they don't
Who do
have
they
that
play?
they don't have that like separator or separators. Like they don't have that separating force on offense that just like, like Canada has guys that they can throw out there anytime that they need a goal and it's like almost guaranteed that they're going to get one, right?
Who did they just play and they won 6-3? It was 5-3 and they got an empty net 6-3. Who did they play? Was it Latvia? No. It was Latvia, no?
Um,
It
I
was
can't
Latvia.
remember. I can't remember.
It
Uh,
was Latvia, I think. Yeah, it went 4-3. Like, how are you? I'm pretty sure it was Latvia.
they've had a couple of games where it's
But
like
like,
they've kind of throughout the round robin they've kind of like near the ends of games, like as games are getting like to like the later part of the second period and into the third period, because of their depth and because they're a roster entirely made up of NHL players against a lot of these like weaker teams, like the weaker competition that we were seeing them face in the round robin. By the time that it was getting to like the later parts of those games, that's where Team USA was kind of able to separate themselves because the other team at that point, they were just getting worn down, right? Um, but to me, it was a red flag how they weren't able to. And Gil said the same thing too on Robbie's show the other night. Like it was a red flag to me how they weren't able to really do that off the hop in any game against any team.
mhm.
Like all of their games were kind of close in the beginning, like through the first half of the game. Like it was pretty sketchy, to be honest with you. And then it wasn't until kind of the later parts of those games that they were able to really separate themselves once the other team started getting
Hmm.
kind of worn down and tired, right? Or they got a couple of power plays or whatever. Um, so yeah, to me, they don't look that strong, and I think that I mean, it'll probably, hopefully, be the gold medal game. Like I think that's what most people want to see is Canada versus USA. I just think Team USA, like they were kind of getting ahead of themselves, making a bunch of commercials about beating Canada for gold because like you got to get there first, and it does look like they might not get there. So,
Well, I gotta say, with Four Nations, the way we played, like there was a lot of guys just trying to do everything on their own. Like if you saw a couple of shifts, like I know there's a couple of games where you saw Connor McDavid and McKinnon literally like just trying to be their own line, and it didn't work because you could see it. It didn't work.
there was no at the
They
four
changed that. They
yeah,
definitely changed that.
at the Four Nations, I thought for Canada, because it was the first time that a lot of these guys had played together for
Hmm.
Team Canada, because NHL players had not been at the Olympics for so long. They hadn't been in a best on best competition for so long, right? Where there would be NHL players. So, because it was the first time for a lot of those guys playing together at the Four Nations, I thought Team Canada at the Four Nations, like, they didn't have a lot of chemistry.
No.
It was a lot of like individual stars being individuals and trying to like go 1-on-4 and beat everybody by
Yeah.
themselves type of thing. This at these Olympics, it looks totally different. It looks like
Yeah.
they're a lot more comfortable with each other now. They're
Yeah.
used to each other. There's a lot more chemistry developing. And I think that that was an advantage that Team USA had at the Four Nations over Canada, was that there was no chemistry yet on Team Canada, because a lot of those guys hadn't played together, whereas a lot of the Team USA players had played together for most of their lives in the US National Development Program, right?
Hmm.
So they had all kind of come up through the ranks in juniors, all playing together. They all knew each other already. So that was, I thought, a big advantage that Team USA had at the Four Nations, and I don't think that that advantage is there for them as much anymore. As
Yeah. No, we
we're
play as a
now seeing
team. Yeah.
we're
No.
now seeing Team Canada start to develop a lot more chemistry, and it looks sick. Like it's
You could see it in the first couple of shifts, like first couple of games as well that we played in the round robins. Like it was kind of like even like the different lines he like tried to, like you could see everything was sort of clicking. I think the only concern really is, I think, and you might touch on this going forward, but I really don't understand the Suzuki choice and the Jarvis choice. Like
I don't know what
they're
like
not like
Carolina Hurricanes fans were like, "Oh my God, like you got to get Seth Jarvis on this team. He needs to be." The dude is out of place. He is out of his league. He looks like crap. Of course, now that I'm saying this, he'll probably score a big goal and like win a game for us in the medal round or whatever. But yeah, no, those are two guys for me, like Seth Jarvis and Nick Suzuki too, which is a little bit more surprising because he's got a little bit more pedigree, if you want to say that, in the NHL than like a Seth Jarvis does. Captain, obviously, the Montreal Canadiens, but like those two guys to me, Seth Jarvis and Nick Suzuki, they both have looked really out of place. Like they just look like they don't belong with this
Mhm.
caliber of player that we have on Team Canada. And surprisingly, to a lot of people, Tom Wilson looks like he does belong, baby. He really belongs. So it's great to see that. It's great to see all of these like, Habs fans and everyone else, all over Canada having to eat their words on Tom Wilson. But like we knew that as Capitals fans, right? This guy can play with good players. He's done it before.
Mhm.
He's done it frequently as a member of the Capitals, and it's something that he does with relative ease, right? So, just finishing off on Team USA though, I thought that I got to get this in here because you brought it up earlier, but I didn't want to go like full Auston
Oh,
Matthews
here we go.
shitstorm off the top, but like um no, I thought that, and to be fair, like I think a lot of Team USA fans completely agree with what I'm going to say here because I've seen a lot of them online saying the exact same thing. So I thought Team USA naming Auston Matthews their captain was really interesting. And by really interesting, I mean really stupid. And apparently I'm not the only one, like I said, judging by the reactions of Team USA fans online, like a lot of people are really, really unhappy with this decision. And did you see that thing, that graphic that was floating around online comparing the fact that so it was essentially, it was comparing the fact that Canada's captain, Sidney Crosby, has more Stanley Cup wins. Like he has more.
The games.
No, no, not even games. Sidney Crosby has more Stanley Cup like rings, wins. He has 3 Stanley Cups, right? He has more Stanley Cup rings than Auston Matthews has playoff series wins. 3 versus 2. And Auston Matthews now has been in the league for a decade. It's not like he's like a 19-year-old, you know?
Which they always try to make it seem like, oh, he's so young.
No, he's
He
almost
doesn't have
30.
time.
He's
He
almost
doesn't have
30.
time. He's 28, okay?
But yeah, so Sidney Crosby has more Stanley Cup rings than Auston Matthews has playoff series wins, 3 versus 2. So that's pretty fucking crazy. And yeah, like I said, I saw a lot of Team USA fans really, really, really pissed off that he was named their captain. And I think rightfully so, like understandably so.
So many other guys you could have chose.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't get why that would be the guy that you would look at and be like, hey, let's put the C on this guy. I said the same thing when they named him
Just like, I'm just gonna say, just like what would possess you to make him the Leafs captain?
That's what I was just going to say. Is I said the exact same thing when they ripped the C off of John Tavares and put it on Auston Matthews. I'm like, why would that be the guy that you want to be your captain? Like, your captain does not have to be your best player. That's the thing that people don't realize. This guy has never won anything, and it's not been for like lack of being on a good team. The Leafs every year have been like a Stanley Cup contender. Like they have supposedly one of the best rosters in the NHL every year, and yet like 2 playoff series wins in a decade. And yeah, like I said, I saw a lot of Team USA fans really pissed off about this, that he was named their captain. Understandably so, like I said. And then I also saw a lot of Canadian Toronto Maple Leafs fans who want Canada to win at the Olympics, being absolutely fucking giddy that Auston Matthews was named captain for Team USA. Basically, they're laughing their asses off that USA named him their captain, and they're essentially telling the American fans like, hey man, good luck with that. Good luck with that one. Because they've been watching it for a decade. So it's yeah, I don't get anyone like there's the occasional Leafs fan like trying to defend him online and like, why is everybody so mean to Auston Matthews? It's because he's a loser.
Yeah,
It's because he's a loser. I haven't liked the guy ever since he dropped his pants on that female security guard that did not ask for it, did not want him to, and then his mommy and daddy paid her off to shut up and drop the charges. Like it was just,
and nobody talks about it. But we'll talk about Tom Wilson for fucking decades and eons about
yeah.
how he's a goon.
Yeah, we'll treat Tom Wilson like he's a criminal because he, leads the NHL in hits or fights or whatever, like on the ice. But it's totally fine to go drop your pants on an unsuspecting female. I don't want to get into this, but I haven't liked the guy since he basically came into the league. I haven't liked how people try to like anoint him the next Alex Ovechkin when like he's
without
not
doing anything.
He's not even going to be close to him at the end of his career. I think that's so disrespectful to Alex Ovechkin, who's been doing it for 21 seasons now, and is literally the NHL's all-time goals leader. So there's a lot of things that I don't like about Auston Matthews and that whole narrative. But yeah, I don't get anyone trying to defend the guy. Like there's a couple of Leafs fans online who are like, oh well, like he's got like 3 goals already at the Olympics, and it's like, yeah, dude, like they're all like you said, like it's on the power play when the game's already 5-1.
Yeah,
like
it's not a difference making goal.
Yeah, come to me when he scores a big goal in a big game, in a tight game, not like, a 5-1 goal at the end of the 3rd period on the power play. Okay? There's a difference. Like, so yeah, I don't get people defending the guy. And I'm just being honest, like, because people can probably tell I don't like him. So I am.
My opinion about him.
Yeah, I am maybe a little bit more hot on the issue than some people, but I just haven't liked. I just don't like him, so I'm not gonna pretend that I do.
Well, it also doesn't help when people entitle him with accolades that he doesn't even deserve because he didn't absolutely do nothing.
Well, that's a Leafs thing, right? That's if he didn't play for the Toronto Maple Leafs, he wouldn't even be talked about. He'd be any other 30 goal scorer right now
Yeah,
in the NHL. So
if
it's
that.
it's yeah, no, so that anyways, I just thought it was funny how like the majority of Leafs fans were like laughing their asses off and being like, "Good luck.
Because they know what to expect.
Good luck, bud." Naming him your captain. So,
Well,
and
he
yeah,
was the reason. He was a reason that they lost in the Four
I
Nations.
know.
So, what would possess you to make him the Olympic
I know they like to they
team
like to
captain?
they like to try and pretend and like say on the broadcast that he's like this great defensive player. Oh, does a great defensive player leave Connor fucking McDavid wide open in the slot in the final in the championship of the Four Nations? Connor McDavid. No, you wouldn't want to check that guy. Ah, leave him alone. Let him shoot. Let's see what happens. Like it's just
Leave your goalie to dry.
yeah, brutal. Anyways, yeah, that's I just thought it was funny because like I said, Leafs fans were laughing about it and a lot of Team USA fans who don't have their heads up their asses were really pissed off that he was named the captain because they obviously want to see somebody lead their team who can lead them to a gold medal, right? Like they don't want to see somebody who has two playoff series wins in 10 years wearing the C. So, um yeah, it's a lot of intelligent Team USA fans down there in the States, which is good to see that a lot of them, like I said, they're very quick, very with it, and they do not want that guy as their captain,
Hmm.
rightfully so. So, yeah, and then just quickly, really quickly here, finish with Team Canada, Team USA for the men's. We'll wrap up here, but I just want to quickly touch on, for anyone who doesn't know, the women's side of things. We have got a Canada versus USA rematch coming up for the gold medal game. That will be a fun one for sure. I am worried about this one as a Canadian. I do not like the way that Team Canada has selected their team for these Olympics. I think that they brought a really old, really slow team. They essentially like of course they've won three of the last four Olympic gold medals. So there's a lot of like legacy players on this team who have done it many times before. They are winners. So that all makes sense, right? They won, like I said, they've won three of the last four gold medals at the Olympics. The only one that they lost was in a shootout, which was garbage. They won the most recent Olympic gold medal in 2022. But because of that past success, they decided to basically bring back all of those players. So they returned 16 players, I believe it was, from the 2022 Olympics where they won gold. So they returned 16 of these players, but they're all 4 years older. They've all slowed down, with the exception of Marie-Philippe Poulin, who's a freak. But she's like a Sidney Crosby. Like she'll be
Yeah.
she's 34 now. She'll be at the next Olympics 4 years from now for sure at age 38, just like Sidney Crosby, and she'll still be the best player on the ice. She's a freak in nature. But other than her, like they return all of these players from the previous Olympics. It's 4 years later. They're all older, and it's an old team. They don't have a lot of young blood on the team at all. It's a lot of 30 plus players, and they just look slow. And so I am worried about this one. Team USA has a much younger, much faster team.
They
Um,
looked really fast.
yeah, they smoked Canada in the round robin, which you don't normally see. Of course, Marie-Philippe Poulin missed that game, so that has to be has to
Five,
be has to be mentioned as
nothing.
well. Obviously, anytime that you are missing your captain and the woman who is by far the best player in women's hockey ever, in my opinion, it's not even really close. Yeah, anytime that you're missing her, like that's obviously a big loss. So they didn't have her for that round robin game, but still, it was 5-0. Like they got smoked, and they just didn't look
Not
very
even a
good.
goal.
They just didn't look very good at all. Of course, USA's been doing that to everyone in this tournament. They've been shutting out everybody.
Hmm.
But yeah, I am worried about that game from
And the
the
goalie.
our
Like,
goalie looks like shit too. And Renee Debian, like who's normally really good. Like she was like unbeatable at the Olympics previously. She's a really good goalie, but she looks off. Like she from like a goaltending perspective, because you guys know who listen to this show regularly. I'm a goalie as well, and just like from the technical side of things, like she just doesn't look good. Like she's not tracking the puck at all, like at all. Like and her movement is just very slow. her reactions are very slow. She just doesn't, yeah, she's just not tracking the puck at all, and she just doesn't seem to be with it. Like it's weird. It doesn't look like her. So it's I'm
Which is
not
not going
saying
to be good for a fast USA team.
yeah, and it's like, of course, I'm not saying that she's a bad goalie. She's a very, very, very good goalie, and she's been very, very, very good for Canada in the past at the Olympics. She's been very good in the PWHL as well, but it just at this tournament specifically here, as we stand in 2026, she does not look good, and so that's concerning. And then yeah, you've got Team USA shutting everybody out, so I'm worried about it. But I will say, and many of our American friends have said to us as well, Team USA fans like can feel really good about their team, and they can feel like it's almost guaranteed that they're going to win gold on the women's side here. But as many of our American friends have said to us who have seen this story time and time again, you can't really feel that way or say that when you go up against Team Canada at the Olympics, because they do have a magic about them. They do have the best player in the world in Marie-Philippe Poulin, who is obviously like just scores so many big goals at the Olympics, captain clutch, so many gold medal winning goals. And so anytime that you're going up against a player like that and a team and a country like that that kind of has that magic, I know a lot of Team USA fans that even though their team has looked unbeatable through the round robin and through the quarterfinal and the semifinal, they're still a little bit nervous and still a little bit concerned just because it's one game. And when it comes in any tournament where it comes down to one game and it's a single elimination, anything can happen. And in the past, Canada has been able to find that magic, right? They've come back on the USA a lot of times in these Olympic gold medal games when it looked like USA was about to win the game, and Canada comes back and steals it from them. So we'll see what happens. It should be interesting. It should hopefully be a good game. I
Yeah,
hope Canada's
hopefully.
going to play a lot better than they have now that Marie-Philippe Poulin is back. She scored 2 goals in their previous game that they just played in the semifinal. She looked really good. Hilarious too that like her
She's
so her
injured.
yeah, she's totally injured. Her knee is still really bothering her, so much so that because the locker rooms are so far away from the actual ice surface in this arena, she had to actually hitch a ride on the golf cart to get from the locker room to the ice surface because it was too far for her to walk on her bad knee. It's a funny thing, but like if you've been in skates before and you have like a tweaked knee or something, a lot of times it is actually easier to skate than it is to walk on it in skates.
Mm.
But yeah, so anyway, she's still injured. She couldn't even walk over to the ice surface. So they wheel her over there on the golf cart. And then she goes out there casually and scores 2 goals and becomes the all-time leading goal scorer in Olympic history. So it's yeah, she's amazing. But we'll see if that'll be enough. Like if her magic will be enough to steal a win for Team Canada, because I think Team USA, the heavy favorite right now on the women's side with the way that this tournament has gone. And yeah, I mean, I'm just so happy though that Marie-Philippe Poulin is back, because it was literally like it was like we were facing like a national emergency up here in Canada with her, with our captain clutch, the greatest women's hockey player of all time, like I said, being injured during the round robin. You never want to
Hmm.
see that in essentially a meaningless game. Yeah, it was a bit of a national emergency. Everybody was freaking out, but now she's back and presumably good enough to go for this gold medal game. So that'll be a good matchup. What are your, just quickly before we sign off here, what are your feelings on that one? What's your gut feeling on Canada USA on the women's side?
I mean, obviously, I want Team Canada to win. I can't say whether it'll be, I mean, I got really nervous because we barely won against the last team we faced, which I can't remember which team it was, but it was a close game. Like
Switzerland.
we Switzerland's what it was. So it was 2-0, and then out of nowhere it was 2-1. And that was at the end of the game, like near the end of the game. So it was just like we couldn't score more than 2 goals. And the
To,
only two people that scored the goals,
it's to be fair, the shots were like, I believe like 46-8, but like you
yeah, but they
said,
weren't
they
high danger
only
chances.
exactly. They only put two. It was a lot of like Carolina Hurricanes
Oh my
hockey.
God, yeah.
That's what
It
it
wasn't a
was.
very intense game. It was kind of a boring
It was
game, to
like
be quite
they
honest.
had a ton of zone time. They had the puck all game.
They couldn't
They
finish.
they had a lot of shots on the shot clock, but they were all kind of from the outside, right? So like like it's great that you spend the entire game in the offensive zone and that you have the puck all game, but you got to generate higher danger chances than they were. And yeah, they only
I
get the two
also
goals.
we also talked about this too. Like I hadn't seen Nurse's name at all. Like, I mean, she's phenomenal for the Golden Eyes, our PWHL team that we watched. Like, she was injured and then she came back and our team looked phenomenal. The last two games we got a shutout, but like didn't hear her name all game.
Well, I mentioned this on Robbie's show the other night. Like this is kind of what I'm talking about with like the
Older.
bringing older kind of legacy players because they've done it for you in the past and because you've won with them in the past. But like somebody like a Sarah Nurse, like at just the last Olympics in 2022, she set an Olympic record for the most points in one Olympics. She had 18 points in one Olympics in 2022. So this was 4 years ago. That was when she was
Hmm.
26. So 26 years old, she has 18 points in one Olympics. Fast forward 4 years here now. She's 4 years older. She has 2 points. 2 points. So she goes from 18 points to 2 points. And some of it, of course, is injury. She has been injured for most of the season.
Hmm.
As we know, we're Vancouver Golden Eyes season ticket holders. So it's been a massive bummer for us that she's been out for most of the season. She's been on LTIR for most of the season. So, of course, a lot of it is probably due to injury as well. But yeah, like it's kind of that's kind of like how it normally is with hockey, unless you're Alex Ovechkin or Sidney Crosby, right? Like you pass 30,
Cyborgs.
as soon as you're like on the other side of 30, it's kind of players slow down a lot, whether it's on the men's side or the women's side. So, yeah, I mean that alone, like that, just looking at that one player, like to go from 18 points 4 years ago to 2 points now, it's no wonder that they're struggling to score when this is kind of how they've constructed their team with a lot of these older players, right?
Hmm.
Like I said, Marie-Philippe Poulin not included because she's a freak, but it's yeah, they need to get some younger blood in there. I'm worried about the gold medal game. I don't think it's going to go our way. That being said, I would be shocked if anybody beats the men's Team Canada. So maybe
Yeah.
we take gold on the men's side and don't get it this time on the women's side. I don't know. But hey, crazier things have happened. So we'll see. That women's gold medal game will come at us on Thursday for anyone who wants to catch that one. Yeah, let's call it an evening here. I think we've got a lot of games to watch tomorrow. Lots coming up here to be excited about. So we got to get our sleep for that one as well. Yeah,
Early games.
quarterfinal games coming up tomorrow, and yeah, they're all so early, right? Because it's over in Italy. So, but I don't know if you guys can tell me in the comments, like our American listeners, if you guys have any type of like free streaming thing for the Olympics down there in the States, because up here in Canada, CBC, which is the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, they have this app called CBC Gem, which is completely free. All you have to do is make a free account just using your email address. It's completely free, and you can watch every single Olympics event, and you can watch it either live or on replay later. And it's actually awesome because normally when you watch a replay, a lot of the time, like they don't let you fast forward anything, or they at least don't let you fast forward the commercials. No, CBC Gem, they let you fast forward everything. You can skip the commercials. It's honestly awesome. It's really good quality. So, not sure if there's anything like that down there in the States. You guys can let me know. But yeah, with these early games, it's definitely good to have a streaming option like that where you can watch
Hmm.
it on replay. And I love how, as well, I thought it was really nice how on the CBC Gem app, when you go to click on the replays, I think it's awesome how they don't put the score in the title. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I hate when they put like when an app puts the score in the title like that because you're obviously like you're wanting to watch the game. You don't want to know the score. So yeah, it's awesome that they don't put the score in the title. But yeah, we'll get out of here. Sunny, why don't you say goodbye and then I'll do our sign off here.
Well, it was a pleasure have being on as well as per usual. I mean, on your podcast. I'll correct myself this time. Your podcast. Looking
You can
forward to
say
talk.
our, you can say our, but it's not yours. That was my
I
problem
honestly
with it.
don't know how I don't even know how that.
That was my problem with it was you came on here like you were still just a casual guest at that point. You hadn't even been on that many times and you come on and you go, "Yeah, on my last podcast, you know,
What can I say? No, I'm looking forward to seeing Tommy, looking forward to seeing Thompson. Hopefully he can play a game. I mean, we'll see what happens with the goaltending. Hopefully, Team Canada women's can win the game and win the gold medal. That would be, obviously, but I'm not that I'm putting less of an importance to the women's team, but like I really want the men's team to win.
I
Like
think it's
I
because
need it. I need it.
I think it's because, and I know how you're feeling, and I think it's because we don't hate the Team USA women. Like we don't hate them. Like we don't hate
No, I
the
don't feel any type of way about
yeah,
them.
we don't hate the American women on Team USA really at all. Like they all seem like perfectly lovely people. The Chuck brothers, I just want to see them cry.
Yeah.
Like I just
Just like I saw their face when they lost against the Four Nations because they were so hot to trot and think they were going to win against the Team Canada. Oh, we're going to bring it.
I've already got my Tom Wilson crying GIF on lock ready to go for that one. So when he was doing it
Let's
at
see them try
Slavkovsky
anything.
in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I've already got that one ready to go. That one's ready
Oh,
to go for the Tkachuk brothers if all goes well here for Team Canada. So
I'm curious to know which line they'll play against Tom. I'm curious to know which time. Like, I'm just curious.
well,
Wondering.
it's interesting because like we said, like John Cooper's tried a few different things, and definitely Nathan MacKinnon on that top line definitely works as like a nuclear option.
Mhm,
But like I said, 2 out of the 3 games has been Tom Wilson up there with Connor McDavid and Macklin Celebrini, and I think that it'll probably depend on who they're playing against. And
mhm.
on situations within the game as well. Obviously, if you need a goal, like you're loading up that top line with Nathan
Yeah.
MacKinnon as well. But I do think like if you're playing against Team USA, start of the game at least, like it's definitely going to be Tom Wilson on that top line because
Send a message.
You want Tom Wilson getting more ice time against
Yeah.
Team USA, right? So you want him on that top line, you want him out there on the ice frequently versus like being on the third or fourth line and not
Yeah.
getting as many minutes. I also think it's we're continuing to talk here now, but I was just gonna say one more thing. I also think, and I said this to you the other day off air, I also really like how John Cooper at this point, like through the round robin, he really has not overtaxed any of his guys at all. Like,
Yeah, like just kind of rotating.
yeah, he's played all 4 lines. Like Connor McDavid, Nathan MacKinnon, these guys have played 15 minutes a night. That's it. So that's not going to be the case when you go to like a semifinal or a gold medal game against real
Hmm.
rivals here. Like if you're playing Team USA in the gold medal game, like that is not going to be the case. You're not going to see Connor McDavid and Nathan MacKinnon only getting 15 minutes. You're going to be able to throw them out there for a half hour, right? So, and
Hmm.
that is a luxury that you have afforded yourself now because you have barely played them through the round robin.
Yeah.
Compared to like in the NHL, most nights they're playing 25 minutes each,
Yeah.
right? So for them, 15 minutes is nothing. So they're going to be good to go here. And yeah, I liked what you said about how you hope that Logan Thompson gets into another game here. He had a really good start in
He
the round
did.
robin for Canada. He looked amazing. He only let in 1 goal, made several huge saves, including his first Olympic save ever. The first shot that he faced in his Olympic career was a 3 on
Three on
1
one. Yeah,
that he made a
yeah.
highlight reel save. So yeah, just a great game by him. Played in the round robin. He's 1 for 1. He got his first Olympic win in his career. So I like what you said that you hope that you get to see Logan Thompson again. I actually don't though, because that means that something has gone horribly wrong. so, so
Uh,
I actually do not hope to. I hope to see his pretty face sitting on the bench, and that's it.
at
Smiling
least
as
he got
his
to play a game.
smiling happily as his team easily wins. That's what I hope for. Yeah. All right, babes, we are going to get out of here. Thank you all so much for being here. As always, really appreciate it. We've missed you guys. It's been a while since we've been on air here. Like I said, I was sick forever, and then the Capitals are off. So, yeah, we wanted to watch some of these Olympic games and then hop back on the mic for an episode here just to talk some Olympics with you all. But yeah, we have missed you guys. It's great to be back. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, really, really appreciate it. Like I said, click on that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Until next time, babes. And as always, let's go, Caps. And let's
Go
go.
Caps.
Let's
Team
go. Let's
Canada!
go, Team Canada. I know a lot of people won't be happy to hear that, my American friends out there. So sorry about that. I'll say sorry. That's so Canadian. Sorry for cheering for my own country. No, but for now, go Canada. And shortly here when we get back to NHL. And as always, let's go, Caps.